Bonjour, this is Learn French with Frida. Bienvenue. Today, being the last lesson of the year, we are going to be asking ourselves, why do we need to be learning French? Why do I need to learn some French? And how can I learn French? Because French is a foreign language. There are so many misconceptions out there about how French is. We all know people talk differently about this language. So, how do I learn French? Because I have tried and tried and tried. This lesson has come about as an answer to some people's questions. Someone asked me, I think French is just so hard to learn. How do you manage to learn and to teach? Someone also said, why do I need French? I have English, I have my mother tongue, and I have Kiswahili. Why do I need French? And those are some of the questions that I'm going to be answering today. So sit back and listen in as we just talk about why French is important to learn and also how we can learn some French. And maybe, who knows, by the end of 2022, you can plan and have a goal of learning some French, or even if it's not French, learning a foreign language, because French is a foreign language. So learning a foreign language by the end of 2022. And if it's French, the better, because that's what we are talking about today. So welcome. We will start by some introductions and then we just dive into why we need to learn French. And the last part will be how to learn some French, and we will conclude. Let's start. What is a foreign language? A foreign language is a language that is not commonly spoken in the country of the person we are looking at. For example, as here living in Kenya, French is a foreign language, among others, because it's not commonly spoken here in Kenya. For the English natives, French is a foreign language. And also, for the people living in France, English is a foreign language to them. Kiswahili is a foreign language. So, a foreign language is a language that is not commonly spoken in the country of the speaker. What are the most common 10 foreign languages in the world right now? French is one of them. We have Mandarin or Chinese. We have Spanish. We have Portuguese. We have German. We have French. We have Russian. We have Japanese. We have Italian. We have Arabic and Korean. So you can see French is one of them. The top 10, it's actually the fifth most common foreign languages spoken in the world. I got an opportunity to Google some of the 10 best foreign languages spoken in the world. And do you know which ones they are? French is one of them, among Chinese, among Japanese, among Italian, among German, and many others. So French is one of the best foreign languages to learn in 2022. And what is the best foreign language to learn? People call French a language of romance. I don't know how that's true. Others say it's Spanish. I don't know. You're the one to decide which is the best foreign language to learn. And when you decide the best one, start learning it right away. Right away. If it's French, I'm available to help you. Learn it as much as you can. Someone would ask, is English a foreign language? Well, yes, it's a foreign language if it's being spoken in a country where it's not the official language, or when it's being studied by a person who comes from a country where English is not the official language, then it becomes foreign. For example, people living in France are learning English as a foreign language. Now you understand where we are coming from in terms of foreign languages? Yes. Someone is also asking me, is French hard to learn? What do you think? Well, just like any other language, French has its easy parts and its hard parts. All languages, actually. When you start learning a language, you'll see that it has its hard parts and its easy parts. So let's just try and see some of the easy parts of learning French, if you are, of course, an English native speaker. The first thing is that the alphabet looks the same as the English alphabet. The French alphabet looks the same as the English alphabet. It has 26 letters, of course, apart from some accents and the pronunciation of those letters, they all look the same. The second easy thing to note about French when you're comparing it to English is some words are actually the same in French and in English, apart from the pronunciation, of course, because of the French accent and the English accent are all different, but the words could have the same meaning and could be spelled the same way. Let's look at some hard parts about French when you compare it to English. The first one is the gender. I have told you earlier that French nouns have gender. All the nouns. The English gender is he and she. But the French gender is on all nouns. All nouns have genders. And it becomes so hard to know, how do I know the gender of a table? How do I know the gender of a house? How do I know the gender of a song? Every noun has a gender, and it's very important to get to know those genders as you learn French. The second hard thing is how we form plurals of nouns, because it's different from English. For some nouns, we add an S at the end, we change the article. For other nouns, we add an X at the end of the noun. For other nouns, they don't change. So how do we get to know when to add this, when to add this? So the rule there actually becomes a bit hard for the people who are used to box, boxes, girl, girls. We only add an S or we add ES on some of those nouns. So if you're used to the English way of forming plurals of nouns, it becomes hard when now you're getting to form plurals in French. But with practice, it becomes very easy. The other hard bit about French is when you're speaking. Some sounds are nasal, some sounds are silent, like H. Some letters are pronounced differently from English, like letter R, we say R. So that one, just getting to get used to the pronunciation of some of those words and sounds become hard for some people. But as I said earlier, it becomes easy and easier and easiest with time and with practice. Another hard bit is the conjugation of verbs. Verbs change depending on the subject, just like in English. But in English, only the third person singular changes in most verbs. But now in French, you have to like memorize, especially for the irregular verbs. You have to memorize how they are changing, how the verbs are being conjugated, and it becomes hectic. But now, online, you can get the verb conjugator, and it's very easy to just check out verbs there in case you're not sure. And of course, with different tenses. Now, the tenses also change the way we conjugate the verb, but it becomes easier with internet and with time. You just get used to it. With time, it becomes very, very easy. The last part that some people think is hard is the spelling of words. You pronounce a word like yacht, for example. Yacht, du yacht. But now when you're writing, it has more letters there that are not being pronounced. You think it's Y-O-T, but no. It has more letters there that are not being pronounced. So the spelling also becomes hard when you've not had that word before. But the good thing, as I said earlier, it becomes easier with practice and with time. Now, at this point, I want us to dive directly into the second section of this lesson. Why do I need to learn French? I mean, I already know English, I already know Kiswahili, and I can communicate to everyone. Why do I need another foreign language? Why do I need French? So in this case, we are going to just look at some few advantages of learning French that other people who have learned French before have actually discovered in their lives. The first one is, of course, it creates employment. Like for me now, as a teacher of French, a qualified teacher of French, I have studied French in high school, I studied French in the university, and now I am earning from French. So it creates job opportunities for some others. Other people have been employed as professors in universities and also working at the French department in a university. You need to have some French background. Let's not even mention the UN, where you need French as a language, both spoken and written. Other jobs, you just find them saying, are you fluent in French? And you need to actually know some French, speak some French. As we have seen, French creates job opportunities for some people. Another advantage is in the world of business. When we are running our businesses here and there, you need a lot of French. You need to speak French because you will find yourself in a francophone country and you will need to discuss business with people who just know French. So you need to know how to speak French. There is a report that I was reading by Forbes where he said that French will in 2050 be the most spoken language in the world. Do you want to be left behind? No, please don't be left behind because it's growing very rapidly and you need to be speaking French so that you fit in come 2050. Another advantage is that French makes you very smart. It makes you smarter than people who have not learned French because it opens up your critical thinking skills. You're able to analyze a verb and see why it's changing this way and not this other way. You're able to just discuss with people in French and you get to know that actually French has made you smarter than before you got it. There's another study that was carried out, I was reading about it just the other day, where they said that students who have taken French as a major in the university are smarter than those who have not, who have majored in other subjects. How true is that? Maybe we can carry out that research and find out from people who have done French as a major at the university and compare them with those who have not and get to see how smart they are. I am not sure, but I just read it as a report and I find it very intriguing to just think about it. French speakers are in a very high demand in all sectors, like in agriculture, in business, in environment, in health, in education, in community and in youth development. In all these sectors, French speakers are in very high demand because you will find that most people already speak English so fluently. So, what is your added advantage? Run and study French, the most rapid growing foreign language. Bilingualism, bilingualism is just having two or more languages with you. It makes you very smart. It opens up your mind. So if you want your mind to be active even when you're aged, run and study some French. It will open up your writing skills. You'll be able to write very nice compositions and blogs. It opens up your critical thinking skills so that you're able to think critically. It opens up your analyzing mind. You're able to analyze subjects and different items and you're able to actually successfully come up with conclusions. Because as you study French, especially having learned English before, French is not a walk in the park, and you get to utilize the whole of your brain in order to learn this foreign language. So, what are you waiting for? Run and learn some French. And on to our third section of this lesson, we are going to see just how do I learn French. Okay, I know it's important. I know I need to learn some French, but I don't know where to start. How do I do it, Frida? And I will just advise you for beginners. First of all, it's good. Felicitatio. Well done. It's good that you already are getting interested in learning French. It starts with the interest, with a positive attitude towards the language. After that, identify the topics that you need to learn. They can be as general as they can. Just identify at least 5 topics to cover by the end of this year. They could be broad or shallow. You will add as you continue. Just give yourself a target of 5 topics. After you come up with the topics, write them down. And you can break them down into subtopics, but they can still remain as general as you have written them. And then after that, choose a topic that you want to start with. It could be my house. It could be foods in French. It could be school and classroom. It could be professions, languages. After you write them down, choose one topic that you want to start with. Let's say you want to start with my house. So say by the end of this month, I want to learn about my house in French. It can be as general as that, my house. And after you have chosen the topic that you want to study, by the end of the month, now start by learning vocabulary. Say 2 new words per day, per weekday actually. Don't even involve the weekend. I know weekends are busy for all of us. Just involve the weekdays. 2 words for starters. They can be as many as 5 or 10, but to start and also to just rank yourself and to see your progress, you can start with 2 words per day. 2 new words about my house. How do we call a wardrobe? How do we call a t-shirt? For today. Tomorrow, how do we call a bed? How do we call kitchen? Period. Day 3, continue like that. 2 new words per weekday will make 10 words per week. Those will be 40 words by the end of that month. As you also learn those words, you could be trying to form some sentences, full sentences. I want to use the bathroom. I want to sleep at 9. Just sentences that you use in the house. What are we eating today? Mary is setting up the table. Dad is watching TV in the sitting room. So you can just try and form at least 2 full sentences about your house per day, per weekday. By the end of the week, you will have formed how many sentences? 10 sentences. And by the end of the month, you will have formed 40 sentences. Imagine that. You're able to speak 40 sentences about your house by yourself. How will that make you feel? Great. And that is for starters, where you start with 2. 2 new words, 2 sentences only. And then you progress. You progress. Each and every month, you keep progressing. After you form the sentences, you can go ahead and make a paragraph. Make a paragraph maybe per month or per week. A paragraph about your house. Just talking about anything in the house. My name is Frida. I wake up at 9. I take a bath. I take my breakfast. And then I sit down to record a video. Form that sentence in French. Just talk about your daily routine. Or you can have a sentence like, today is Wednesday. We are eating rice and beans. Mom will be preparing the meal as I wash utensils. My sister, then you say the name of your sister, will set up the table after my mom has finished preparing dinner. For example, such a paragraph. Learn how to say it and also write it down in French. That way, you will have learned something about your house. Writing a paragraph about your house in French. How does that feel? Easy. And that will be like in a week, you're able to do that. And then on the part of reading, because a language has four parts. We have listening, where you listen to the pronunciation and you repeat. We have speaking, where you speak about your house. We have writing, where you write a composition or a paragraph. And then we have reading. For the reading part, you can just give yourself a timeline of reading one storybook, one short storybook per month in French about any topic. If you've chosen my house, you could look for a storybook that has maybe pets or anything in the around the house chores. You can choose a topic that is revolving around my house and read that storybook. About reading, you don't have to understand every word in that storybook. You don't. As you read and you get to see the flow of the story, the words' meanings will come out as you continue. So you don't have to struggle with a dictionary checking out the meaning of each and every word. No, just continue reading and you will get to understand what each and every word means as you proceed with your storybook. Some words will make sense as you continue reading. So don't even feel bad that you don't understand. Just continue reading. So that's it about how to identify the topics that you want to cover for like half a year. Write them down. Choose one that you're going to start with. Then start by learning vocabulary, at least 2 words per day. Those will be 10 words per week. We said don't even involve the weekend, just use the weekdays, 5 days a week. 2 words per day. By the end of the week, you will have learned 10 words. By the end of the month, you'll have learned 40 words. As you learn the new words, also try to form sentences, full complete French sentences about that specific topic. If you form one sentence per day, those will be 5 sentences by the end of the week. And by the end of the month, there will be 20 sentences. You will have formed 20 sentences about the topic that you chose. And of course, try and read a storybook per month. And then of course you'll be writing down what you're learning, like in paragraphs, and trying just to speak about them as you continue. Practice that and you will give me feedback. By the end of that month, if you find out that you have exhausted that topic, move on to the next topic. Just continue with the same routine. At the end of the 6 months, as you evaluate yourself, you will have moved a great step by learning some French by yourself. And by the end of the year, what will you have achieved? I think you will have learned so much. So don't just sit. Start somewhere. Start on and let me know how useful you find this information in the comments section below. On to our last bit of this lesson today, the conclusion. What is the conclusion? Do you think that French is hard to learn? It's up to you. I cannot tell you whether it's easy or it's hard, but it's all up to you to decide. The good news is that you don't need to master the whole language in order to use it. You don't. Whatever you already have is what you will use. Like by the end of the month, you can actually start speaking to people in French. Yes, you don't have to like master the whole language, master everything, perfect everything in order to start speaking. No, you don't have. Just use what you have at that point. Just say the words, and people will join in and get the meaning of what you're saying. You don't need to be fluent in order to speak. No, just speak. People will get the meaning as you speak. Even if it's joining one word and another, people will get to see, you're talking about this and this, and they will understand. That's the good thing with communication. You speak and we understand what you're saying. If someone needs to correct you or to add more information onto what you're saying, they will do it. But the good thing is, you have already spoken. Yeah, practice is the key to learn. Just keep practicing. You practice, you speak to yourself, you speak to someone who even doesn't understand what you're saying. Just keep talking, keep speaking. Write your compositions. You can even send them to me on my email so that I can evaluate and help you out and see where you need help and congratulate you even for what you're doing. My email is frenchwithfrida@gmail.com. It's written down there. So, in order to continue learning faster and better, just keep practicing. Start with what you have. Start with the 2 words that you've learned today and just continue. And lastly, the more you speak, the more you master. The more you speak, the more you master. So use the language, use whatever you have learned. And that's it. Thank you for joining me today as we were learning about why we need to study a foreign language, and in this case, French, and how we can study the foreign language, and in this case, French. Put those few steps into practice and let me know how you're progressing in the comments section below. I am waiting to hear how this lesson will help you in this coming year. Give yourself a timeline of learning French. Start now. Don't say I'll start after 5 years. Just start now. Learn some French, continue learning, speak some French, continue speaking, and the more you speak, the more you learn. The more you practice, the more you master. That's the goal. Let's grow the French community in the world. This is Learn French with Frida. Over for now. See you in the next video.